What's happening, everybody? How's it going? It's your boy again, Black Conscious Convo. I'm your host, Chris Diggins. Today's guest is a superstar champ, y'all. As we was just talking, I don't really know how to simply explain this individual. It would definitely be disrespectful to make it simple. You understand? He's a leader in so many different ways. Grew up watching this man bring people together. I mean, Corey A. Shively, y'all, like, for real. You changed so many people's lives in high school. Do you know that?
No.
I think about when I got to Montbello, my 9th grade year.
Oh.
You was a sophomore when we got there.
Uh-huh.
But
That's crazy.
you liked everybody and everybody liked you.
Yeah.
That was the craziest thing to me. I had never, like, I've known that there were people that just some way, some reason just didn't like me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I've never seen that reciprocated back to you, or just in general. Like, I've never heard people say, "Oh, I can't stand."
Oh, they out there.
I'm sure they are.
They might be watching right now.
I'm sure they are. After you became more than what you were as you grew.
From day one, man. From day one. Because let me tell you, and thank you for all that. I appreciate it. But let me tell you, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Gotcha.
A lot of people don't know this. You know what I mean? And so, like, I moved first and foremost when we got here to the West Side Projects. So I went to school, you know, on the West Side first. And we moved here with Hazel Miller, my 2 sisters, my mother, and then
That's
Hazel's
Hazel
3
Miller?
sons. Yes, that is the amazing jazz singer Hazel Miller.
Amazing.
If you're into jazz, you know who I'm talking about. Yes, that's my auntie. Hey, what's up, auntie? Her 2 sons, and then their cousin, which was Philip. So we all moved here, you know, and we actually ran out of gas in Denver. And that's real talk. And that's how we ended up in Denver, bro.
In Denver. Ran out of gas.
So, you know, when they talk about how God works, you know.
In mysterious ways.
You know, right, exactly. Because we was planning on going to Cali.
That was the goal.
That was the goal, to get to Cali. And so, you know, we didn't make it to Cali. We ended up in beautiful Colorado, because it is beautiful around here. I've been to Cali. I've been to New York. I've been to Texas. I've been to Michigan, all the places around the water. I tried to go there as many places as I could, and I'm from Kentucky, so I went back there. Used to live in Ohio. Man, Colorado is beautiful, man.
It is. It is definitely something else. My family moved here.
Yeah.
My mom's side, my grandfather was in the military.
Yeah.
They moved here to build Fort Carson as a concentration camp.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Well, they had a
Fort
plan.
Carson was a concentration camp for the Asians.
They had a plan, you know, and that's definitely. I hear a lot of fluent of our elders who say exactly the same thing. I read in articles about Colorado was going to be one of the, you know, most booming states, you know, and one of the greatest economies in, you know, 5, 10, 20 years, you know, was predictions. And so, like, you know, I know it was like kind of a gold rush here, you know, that's where the gold rush was.
Well, when my grandfather and them got here, he told me stories about how at that time, black people weren't really allowed to live in Denver.
Right.
They lived in Pueblo at that time.
Right.
That's
we
why
moved here. We moved here, and I think it was 83, 84, whatever that crazy blizzard was. I remember
83.
Yeah, I remember just like shoveling above my head. Like, this is crazy. Like, what am I doing? Yeah, but so like that's how I was kind of introduced like to Denver. Like, it was the West Side first, then we moved to the East Side. Like, I got some of my partners from the East Side to this day, just from that little stint in living in the East Side. You know what I mean? And then from there to Park Hill. And then from there, we finally settled in Montbello, and that's what everybody knows me for. Is, mostly being from Montbello. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Today, we are smoking some Truth. As you can see on the screen, Truth is from 14er. 14er, once again, is a dispensary in Boulder, Colorado. They have a method of storing their weed after it's cured in airtight cans.
Okay.
This is what it looks like in the can. It is sealed, as they say, signed, sealed, delivered. Yeah. It is like I said, 14er is doing a great job.
Yeah, 14er is that fire. I see it glowing over here.
Yeah. That smell.
I can see it glowing from over here, though. I smell it too, but I can see it glowing from way over here.
14er, you can grab you some 14er from this store right here. Golden Meds is one of the dispensaries, like I said, that carries. This is the one in Montbello.
Bellows.
Yeah. That was the one on Oneida. Right here.
Hillside.
They have several stores in those locations. And they have 2 more coming. The only reason why I support Golden Meds, one, the owner went to TJ.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe and his brother have been there for the community since they started independentism.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deny them that.
Okay.
Some of their business practices we won't discuss, but at the same time, people are people. They have been there though, in general. So I won't take away from that. So once again, go to Golden Meds.
Yeah.
Get you some weed from people that give back to their community, not just that they want you to come buy from the community.
That's important.
It is, especially for us.
Yeah, that's important.
Now, you, my friend, grow your own weed, as you told me earlier.
Well, we do. It's like I got a network of people that I've been messing with for years, and so anything to do with marijuana, from seed to sale. It's like that's my network.
Gotcha.
Like even these cartridges, not that I've made them recently, but I just have so many of them. Like every now and again, I just pull one out. But we made these cartridges, you know what I mean?
Oh, your homies' companies.
Exactly. So there's like 3 different machines that I'm versed on and that I have, within my network. And we're in several different parts of Colorado. Let me say that,
Gotcha.
And it's not like we're doing anything industrial. It's just more of, I know what's pure. They're cutting cutting a lot of that stuff, with that PG and even cutting the PG and VG together, and
oh yeah. Well,
and those cartridges are getting more and more pure.
Yeah,
but I've always been, on that purity. And then we got so many of these stems right here, like I think we originally got like 3,000 of them, and now I think we're down to like 400 or 500. So we just, we just been kind of sitting on stuff because the game is so over flooded in Colorado, and so I don't critique so much.
When it comes to marijuana?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a flooded market, bro. Like even the dispensaries. Like think about the quality and how hard it is to find what you found in the beginning as a true connoisseur.
Now, me myself, yes, I am a serious connoisseur.
Me too, because we was smoking when it wasn't really cool.
Well, we were smoking when we had to go to special people.
Exactly. That means it wasn't cool. That's why I just said it wasn't cool. I'm not gonna say any other way about it, you know. But it just wasn't cool like this.
Shout out to Tulo. Y'all know, if you know Tulo.
I don't know.
Weed connoisseur. Like, weed connoisseur.
Yeah.
My whole life.
Turned you on to it.
Not even just turned me on to it. Made me grasp the reality of what I was smoking.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, I was buying weed from all these other people.
Yeah.
And then they showed me what real weed was.
That's fine. Yeah.
Because once again, Montbello.
Yeah.
Got kicked out of Montbello into sophomore year. Had to go to TJ. I learned the difference at TJ.
Yeah.
What smoking a bowl was and smoking a blunt was. Like, Montbello taught us blunts and joints.
Right.
And TJ taught me bowls and ounces of good weed.
Yeah. KB.
Kinda.
Right. Yeah.
That was what, yeah, and
so like, realistically though, like, man, it's so many stories about weed, but you know those two little boys got shot not too long ago?
Yeah.
So me and one of my partners, I think it was my boy, he like my cousin. His name is Byron. He gonna know if he ever see this. But me and Byron hit this lick out of the backyard just like them two little boys. Like, we just seen it. We didn't know nothing. It was all immature, you know, like, it was just basically some hairs on there. Like, it just had got started, you know, growing. So it's like, you know, we take it back, we dry that shit out, you know, like, man, it filled up a whole stop sign, right? Because we had this stop sign over Block South. Shout out Big Block.
Yeah.
And man, it was a whole stop sign, man, full of that Bammer. Posse. You know, you got to be from the old to know about that Bammer.
That Bammer.
You know what I'm saying?
That seedy weedy.
But it was definitely some Bammer, bro. Like, it was definitely some Bammer. But, you know, me, you always said I'm a hustler. I see you put that out there several times and that is one of my acumen. You know, I'm a hustler. You know, that's where it kind of started. Because, man, we rolled them things up. We went and got some papers.
I mean, if you think
Hold on, man. We went and got some papers, Chris. And we had them little baby joints at Montbello, bro. Them tops, man. Me and Byron was out there killing them.
That's what I'm saying.
And it was some Bammer. I'm sorry to anybody who grabbed it, but we had to eat. You know, shout out to anybody who gave me their change off their desk at MLK. Sorry, give me a super cookie. And shout out. It was a struggle.
Like, think about that statement right there. But like sugar, like, get a super cookie.
Super cookie.
Super cookie. Like, remember that, y'all?
Yeah. Super cookie. Yeah.
Yeah, and that, like I said, just in general, when it came to smoking, like, I really believed that I was a connoisseur of marijuana until Tulo, and then I heard about strains and different varieties.
So we kind of got up on that early. Like, shout out to my boy Starworth, you know what I'm saying, Vern, because that dude really, like, laid out the whole understanding of, like, everything from trichomes to everything, bro, to like
CA, CBD,
the lights, you know what I'm saying, the positioning, you know, like everything about from
the
seed
why you have a fan
to
in the
cell,
room. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, ventilation, exactly, mylar, you know, all of that. Like, Vern came and laid all that out for the squad, and like, I think it was like 08, you know what I'm saying, and like, it was like, that's when it like really clicked. Now, I knew about strains and all that because like that, we was still in high school when that happened with them joints, right? But then when I hit the streets, you know what I mean? Like there was a time like before I got my jaws broke, right? Because like I say, I went from the west side to, and I'm not from here. Like, I have no other family here. It's me and all those people I named. My two sisters, shout out to Angela and Erica. I'm Definitely partly famous because of them two, you know. Also, like you are for your brothers, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you get a lot of fame off your bros, you know.
Well, see,
it's just family,
my brothers
though.
were great. You know what I mean?
Right.
Me, myself, I was bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
but you know what I'm saying. A lot of people know you because of them too.
True.
Whether, you know, we was good or bad, like a lot of times, like, this is how I look at it, because a lot of people would categorize me as bad. But when I know what happened to me and I know what was going on with me and those adverse childhood experiences that I wasn't facing because I was unaware of them, they're unseen.
Once again.
You know what I mean? They're unseen, so that's what you're going through. And all we can do is say, he's bad, he's crazy. That's what we used to say about my bro before it happened to him. You know what I mean?
It's supposed to be each one teach one, we all grow.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's what it's supposed to be. But bro, we was too young, and that's just what it was.
Yeah, and we don't get that.
You know what I mean? So coming out of actually landing in Montbello, right? Like, wait a minute, I gotta stop real quick because when I was in Park Hill for an extended amount of time, that's how I found out kind of about gangs, right?
Gotcha.
I want to shout out everybody who I talk about in these stories because y'all know it's the truth. But
ain't nobody look.
I used to go to Stedman, right? And my boy Jamil, and
The twins.
No. Not shout out to Jamil and Jamal, R.I.P. bro. You know, yeah, them was my guys. You know, them was my guys. But no, Jamil from Park Hill.
Gotcha.
And we went to Stedman Elementary. And so I had seen shout out to Madeers, because we lived on Forest, 34th and Forest, right across the alley from Elgin. Shout out Uncle L and Ace. Shout out and rest in peace to big bro Ace.
Okay.
You know, because these guys was having me in talent shows. They was trying to send me in a positive direction, you know, and it was somehow, I feel like God, as long as I've been living here, always kind of put me around positive people who wanted to do better. And I came from an environment where we didn't know anything about gangbanging, right? We banged families in Kentucky, right? And so like that's what I ultimately brought with me. Like
that's what I felt.
That's why I wouldn't like all the way join up. But I got some partners who's deep in the game. You know, one of your guests, your first guest, right? My bro. That's my bro, you know, Dreddy Goins, Share, you know, shout out bro, you know, like me and him go way back, and I'm about to get to him in the story too, because that's when Montbello and Park Hill's finest came together, you know, and we just, like some of the greatest things just came from those two, you know, like us two coming together, you know what I mean?
Denver at that time period, I tell you this, I've said this, Denver at that time period, we'll say from 87 to 97, the people in that time period that were going into high school, coming out of high school, there's so much greatness in that era that it just didn't have the leadership that it needed or the guidance that it needed to get to that next level.
Well, I don't know, man.
Because we were so caught up on gang banging.
Check this out. And clicks.
Ding.
Because a click could change your life.
Period.
See, you get with the right click, you know what I'm saying? Even where some of them is gangbangers and they want to do something different. You know what I mean? And then you become, you know, a click. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, shout out to the first click that I had when I got to Montbello, which was Big Block, my boy Thomas Trotman,
right,
and my boy Boogie, Russell Grant. That was the squad. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And the first time I felt like I had some bros, because like Hazel and my mom, they had drifted apart, so they don't really chop it no more. That's how I'm moving all these different places. Like I would go visit my cousin Kenneth, you know, that's Hazel's son, and then my other cousin Bobby Young, and that's Bobby Young from Manual, the 82 champs. You know what I'm saying? Robert Bobby Young, yes, greatness.
Remember that.
You know what I'm
Manual,
saying? So he coached too. No, they just won a championship. He was coaching it too.
Yeah,
bro's a beast.
Oh yeah, no.
That's all he used to do was play basketball all the time.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like, it was like Denver had leadership that something happened after the 90s.
No, I'm about to tell you what happened.
Go ahead.
I'm about to tell you exactly what happened. So, when they separated, right, and we landed in Barbello, the thing about Barbello that I'll never forget was it was a lot of just like flat out cripping.
Amen.
Right? Like, and it was like, I know it wasn't a lot because I was still in elementary at a mess, but it was like the only time I heard about cripping was this time in Park Hill. Madeir's had cuz on the side of the building. And I asked Jamil, I said, man, what is that about? We on our way to school. I go to Stedman. So I'm living over there on Forest, but we go to Stedman, right? And so like one day he tell me the Crips is coming up here, right? I'm in Park Hill, right? At Stedman. And he like, they gonna beat up anybody wearing red, right? I think we probably in the 4th, 3rd grade, some shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
this is, look.
Like, for real. Like, cause this is before I come to Montbello, and I went to a mess and Barney Ford, you know, so a lot of this is solidified in my head, but check it out. Like, the Crips, we all day long, all I could think about with Jamil, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, so they gonna beat up the teacher, Miss Johnson. They gonna beat up Miss Johnson. He like, yep. I got on a red shirt. I'm like, they gonna beat me up, bro. You know, ultimately he like, fuck yeah, bro. He like, it's going down. The Crips is coming up here. I'm like, okay. I ain't seen the Crips all day because we don't know when the Crips is coming. You know what I mean? This is my introduction to that, what that cuz on the side of that building meant. We get out of the back of the school. We walking out of the back of the mess. You know, there's a big courtyard. There's a street leading right down on the back of it. I believe it's either Holly or it's one of the streets on the back of it. Man, we look to the right. Jamil say the Crips. We look up there, man. Hey, man, no lie, bro. 3 files, rose back till I couldn't see, bro. Man, I took off flying to the house. I didn't even ask. I didn't even hear Jamil's voice no more, nothing. I just took off, ran all the way to the house. Didn't stop. Didn't look back.
Didn't even see if he was telling you
to do
the truth or not.
Not today. Like, we not about to fight. Man, they was swirling sticks. I'm talking about twirling chains. It looked like the Warriors or some shit, bro. For real.
Look, now see, once again, we didn't know about these.
That's the introductions.
This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Listen, they storming elementary schools in Park Hill, right? And then when I get to Montbello and I see all these Crips, and I'm like, at first I was like, because you got to think we in elementary school. So like the only real Cripping that was going on, I shout out to Dante Ross, rest in peace, and Flav. And see, so that's Flav, and he ended up being from Gear Gang. You know, and he unfortunately lost his life, gang banging.
But before Gear Gang, what was there?
This is what I'm trying to tell you. He was banging Kitchen Crip.
Yeah.
But that's because some of his family was Kitchen Crip, from California connection.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then there was Johnny and Sylvester.
Right.
The Gibsons. Remember, they was banging. I remember them dudes was hustling before anybody I know. Like, no lie. Shout out to my guys. But anyway, that was the only leadership we had, but we're talking about elementary, right?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so then we come to MLK, and the first form of leadership that I ever experienced in my life was the Male Responsibility Club.
Oh, wow.
And that's why Thomas, Michael Glenn, and Russell Grant was all tight like that. Vashawn Mason, who else was in MRC, man? So it's like the precursor to B2B, right? And it's Mr. Howard, Mr. Love, and Mr. Shannon. Rest in peace to Mr. Love. You know what I mean? Oh, was Luke in MRC? I wish somebody was on here could tell me. I think Luke might have been in MRC. You remember Luke Dog from B2B?
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Cowboy Luke. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But
this is the leadership that formed into what I know. Right. You see what I'm saying? And then before I left Park Hill, my sister, rest in peace, Sleepy, Victor Richardson, he was like a leader and a rebel on all accounts. Like, not to get too political, but
Gotcha.
he wasn't with that LA, set. He was like, I'm gonna claim my soil. That's leadership.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I came to Montbello with in a package. You see what I'm saying? So while I'm growing in B2B and all this, I'm knowing all this other stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing going home to some other stuff, bro. And then like me and my mom had got into it so cold because I started embracing the streets, more and more. And like, so we was out at that party. This is how my jaws get broke, right?
Oh yeah.
Because my mom get into it with me so cold because I'm slanging. Hold on.
That was the worst.
Oh, you ain't got to tell me though.
Day back in Montbello history. I'm saying in general. Everybody in school, everybody at Montbello. I don't know about the elementary schools and everything like that. I know when you got your jaw broke.
Yeah.
All of Montbello High School hurt. Like, I had never felt that much pain in one building at one time.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it.
Until Omari Nunn afterwards.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it.
That one was those.
And I seen it at the hospital. My sisters told me, but hold on, before we leave MLK, I got to talk about the MRC and Dante Ross. Because everybody remember when MC Hammer came to MLK? Do you remember that? Was you there? Yeah. Was you there?
Yes.
You remember, I don't remember who it was, raised their hand in the audience and was like, hey, Hammer, why you say crabs on the inside of your album cover? And Hammer said, because black people like crabs in a bucket, and that's what I was saying. Man, out of nowhere, you just heard somebody yell, F Hammer, he a SL, and like they rushed the stage. Do you remember that?
Here's the thing. I didn't get to go to the concert because I was a bad kid.
Oh, yeah. MRC had us all in that thing. Collared up. Shout out to Boogie. Shout out to Tom. Shout out to Big Block. We was in that thing.
Us didn't get to go.
Hey, before Jay-Z, we had on button-ups. Messing with MRC. Me and the squad. We had button-ups. You know what I'm saying? Before MRC. Me and the squad. Before Jay-Z, we was rocking button-ups because of MRC and because of B2B. You see what I'm saying? But we on camera, buttoned up, all of us, and Dante, because he's our partner from elementary. You know what I mean? And there's a million stories I could tell you, and it's all good. I'm going to put all this together. Y'all, he told me I need to be a comedian, and y'all need me. I got something for y'all. Don't trip. It's coming.
Once again, this is Montbello.
Yes.
This is not even just that this is Montbello.
What you say came up from that hospital? What'd you say was Montbello's finest?
Oh yeah, Montbello's finest came up at that time.
So at my point of the transition, like all that Park Hill shit, like bundled up in me, and we start drinking and smoking at that early age. Like I'm telling you, me and Byron, we was probably like, like I said, we wasn't even 16 yet. Right. Because that's when I got my jaws broke. You know what I mean? But my mom kicked me out.
I knew of officially at the time was Adiante and Myron.
There were several of them.
Well, that went to Montbello.
There were several of them. Adi, Pac-Man.
We didn't know.
Yes. The Ernest.
There was a few we didn't know.
No, they did. These dudes was catching major flack about being Bloods. That's why I know. If they watching this, they know I'm telling the truth.
I'm not saying.
I was catching flack because they swore I was a Blood, and I would always be like, man, I just know Park Hill. You know what I mean? And I was majorly influenced by Park Hill. Don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But everybody was majorly influenced by somewhere back then.
Officially, like the Hardens and Adi. Let's say that. Look at that.
No, the Hortons just made their own franchise.
Period.
Shout out to my nigga D'Angelo.
Man.
Shout out to my nigga Russell. Shout out to my nigga motherfucking Daryl. Them is my pot. They used to live across the street. Look. Long stories.
Histories.
Long ass stories. Yeah. Them is all my niggas. But what I'm saying though is when between the drinking, between that drinking, I can't even blame it on weed. Because like we had been smoking weed so long at that point, like it was I did some amazing stuff off of this marijuana. And it's also proven that that's what this can do to your creativity. So I know from experience and results what's happened Now, could I have done better without it? Of course.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? And do we know? Could I have done better? We don't. We definitely don't. Because I got a lot of partners that's dead. People be still quoting Tupac to this day, man. You better get some grown Tupac shoes on you. This dude denounced thug life. See, that's the leadership that we go after, the visual and the popular. You see what I'm saying? The unpopular is a plant. See, because we're earthlings. Earth is silent. Man is loud. We just went and started a fire. Think about it, because we had to get warm.
But humans.
But we had to get warm. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We had to get warm, so we started a fire. You see what I'm saying? But what did that got to do with the earth? Earth is still silent, except it crackles like you burning me, letting you know you. That's it.
That's it.
But man is loud.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? If we were more silent like the earth, we'd understand the plant, because that's the peace. But no, we want gold. We want bigger stakes. You see what I'm saying? So the leadership that we have right now in place is based off of ideologies of the past. You see what I'm saying? We need ideologies of now. And that comes from collaborative thought like this show. You see what I'm saying?
This show came together because I noticed things about myself that I knew I was weak in. Like areas of my life personally that I knew I had a problem living up to, just because, one, I wanted to hold on to, as you said, in a form, an old ideologies.
Yeah.
That in general, ideologies are supposed to develop as people grow, right?
Exactly.
Now, just like with God, in the beginning, he punished everybody right then, right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then Jesus, we get forgiveness.
Well, see, this is exactly how it happened. This is how, so like I keep saying, like I keep alluding to that drinking at a young age, that's what's pitched to us.
Ding.
You see what I'm saying? In movies.
This is why.
Think about it, bro.
Our subject that we're talking about is so important. Though.
Young drinking is pitched to us through movies and commercials from jump. You see what I'm saying? So they was making out, like, bro, like the night before my jaws got broke, this is no lie. This is an important story too.
Go ahead.
Shout out to, cause that's when it was Chris G, Emil, JV, Jason Vaughn. Shout out to that bro. Like we had a whole table with every kind of cheap liquor you can think of, bro.
Wow.
I was just in there taking a shot of everything. Because guess what? Going back to that no family, this is separation anxiety. But I don't know that. You see what I'm saying? I don't have, everybody's leaving me at the end of the night going home to their family, right? I'm going home to a couch at somebody's house.
Whose house?
Block's house at this point, Michael's house.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Not that
because me and my mom then got into it. You know what I'm saying? So this is like right before it happens, but this is where all my ideologies, like everything was just coming to a head in my life.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? And I had become to think that B2B, MRC was like a gang.
Dang.
So it's like a mentality in my head. You see what I'm saying? Because this is what I've seen. This is what I kind of been groomed through.
Everything that
this is the leadership that was around me before, which was Vic. This is what I'm trying to tell you before I left Park Hill. He's like big bro. Dude's on the cover of the Denver Post. You know what I'm saying? In handcuffs. Like, oh man, this is big bro. Like, you know, this is a real life movie in front of me.
Yeah.
He's driving the 6'4" with Ice Cube at the same time. Like the green one on Goldwyn at the same time, right? That's what Park Hill was doing at the time. Eastside was too, but I wasn't really down there like that. I was more in Park Hill because that's what I had knew. I was spent a short stint
on the east side, and that's
exactly.
The
but in Montbello, you see what I'm saying? Like it was kind of like
it was families where we all came together from
once
both
I
those
understood
areas.
What Crip was in Montbello and Cuz was, it was a territorial thing. You see what I'm saying? And so Cuz was just the bluest side because what happened was
that we was
hey, when I was younger,
right or wrong, everything that we was, sports, anything that we was, it was a gang form.
It was involved, but
right.
but there was somebody even on your team.
Yeah.
Was cousin or blood. You
right.
see what I'm
you
saying?
Didn't know this though.
Right?
Until.
But this is the leadership mentality that was going on along with us growing up that we didn't know.
Right.
See, that was being implemented from leadership from the West.
The silent.
They was coming and making an influence, bro.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For real.
Right.
Like serious. You got to really think about it. It was like a migration of the gang herd mentality. They call it the herd mentality. You see what I'm saying?
Oh.
Because you can pitch it. These are all clinical terms, by the way. You know,
right.
And I'm leading up to where I'm at with the trauma and the mental health, because this is what's going on with us at the same time, and we don't know it.
And that's why I want everybody to know.
Yeah.
That is, our conversation is developing into mental health issues.
They're already here, though.
Period.
We've been talking about them the whole time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And we don't identify. And this is the biggest one for me, because anybody, you just said it shut down the whole Montbello community, right? When the youth community is what you're saying, when my jaws got broke, right?
Yeah.
Right? All these same people right now who know me and who really take me dear, I could have died that night. And let me tell you what they said in the hospital that night. But hold on, let me get my ass whooped first, because I talked my ass up on this ass whooping. You see what I'm saying? Playing around. You see what I'm saying? Playing around in the wrong circumstances, thinking that Montbello just says cuz. Thinking that my homies is just cousin on GP, because in Park Hill, like, they're storming schools. I've never seen the Crips storm the school like they did on the east side, except for the homies, the Hortons. They was storming schools. My niggas was storming
once again
all over.
Once again, just a little factual history.
For real.
Individuals that took every opportunity to not be a part of what the world says is okay.
That's right.
In general,
that's right.
When you take control of your future, when you take control of yourself and your actions, when they went over there to TJ to show them, do not come over to our school.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
The Hortons were the definition of Montbello's protection in general.
Yeah.
There was, if Montbello's land was born and bred by the Horton family, they were its gods. Do you understand?
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
in general, something changed.
Well, this is what I'm telling you, where the shift happened, right? Because that's my baptism of fire right there. That's why I stopped playing games, is the night when I walk up on that party, you know what I mean? And them two grown men run out the party, and we not fighting who we thought we was about to fight. You know what I'm saying? And my partner take off on me. You know what I'm saying? We'll just leave that as it is. And then Preston Hill, rest in peace, killed by the APD. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, bro. I miss you. You know I miss you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out Cayman, bro. Cayman, I just hollered at you. You know what I'm saying? Before we did this, and I still mess with Brian. You know what I mean? Yeah, your government. The roots run deep in Montbello, but he was too young to do anything, you know what I mean? And I stood there like an idiot and didn't run like the wise man who ran, you know what I mean? Because we was too young to take on this battle.
But at the
same
see what I'm
time,
saying? Though, we felt like.
But y'all, what nobody ever understood was, getting your face smashed into the pavement. You know what I'm saying? Like, spitting out them teeth, remembering that, and it got to a point where, like, they just kind of let me go. And shout out to, I think it was Heather and Taja Pullman, you know what I mean? Got me up out of there. I can't remember who took, and from there I kind of was like in a zone, like I don't remember nothing. I saw myself in a mirror somewhere, and my face was just like so big, nigga. My tongue was like swollen through my whole. I couldn't even breathe. My tongue was so big. You know what I mean? That was the definition of an ass whooping on some real shit. You know what I mean? So that was my baptism of fire. So like pain never was nothing after that. And fights and shit, once my shit healed up, you know what I mean? Like it was just about getting money and motherfucking protecting my square.
Period.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of people from the Bloods and the Crips called that hospital trying to do something to them people. On my mother's life. I miss you, Mom. Trying to do something to them people, whispering in my ear, trying to do something to them people. Who was it? I don't know.
Right.
And to this day, I don't know. I don't want to know. I done heard and know to find out. I don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because just like my father, who all I remember when I left Louisville at 9 was that he sent me with a broke remote control car for Christmas, and I gave it back to him before we left Kentucky in that van with Hazel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's all I remembered about him. He never sent for me. He never, but guess what? I'm breathing right now, 2020, because of him. You see what I'm saying?
That's why this clip right here, I want you make some of these valid statements that this individual right here, Dr. Omar.
Yeah.
Umar, yeah. He's, you and him.
In the Caribbean. When I was in Jamaica, I keynoted the party celebration last summer, Ocho Rios.
I remember this though.
I apologize, y'all, for the feed.
No, it's good. Why don't you just sum up what he's talking about? We only got so much time.
For the Jamaicans,
okay, there you go.
What the Jamaicans have to give them in turn is the right to certain lands, the right to certain waterways, and if it doesn't stop,
and he's talking about Chinese right now.
Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley will be the first Chinese colony in the Caribbean. Wow. It's getting bad. And you know why it's happening? Because the black bourgeoisie leadership in both Africa and the Caribbean, they don't have to live with the consequences of the economic decisions they make. So if I'm the president of Jamaica, okay, China says, listen, we're going to give you $1 million in retirement. We're going to build you a retirement home, but we want this, this, and this. And you can loan as much money as you want. You can borrow as much money.
All right, stop, because I know where he's going. I watched this.
No. I'm saying in general, he's talking about how racism in China is worse than racism in America.
Oh, yeah.
And how we have PTSD in general from racism.
What is it? Shout out to Distro, Devon. What is it? It is post-traumatic slavery disorder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's even better.
That's what it is.
Yeah. That's
but hold on. Let me say this. Let me say this, though, Chris. On what he's speaking on.
Yes.
See, like, before the Declaration of Independence, there was the Articles of Confederation. Now, the Articles were weak. They were really weak. That's why the four, runners of America got together and strengthened it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They ain't the founders, they're the forerunners for the documents that made America.
Period.
Because think about it. What is the Declaration of Independence? It is a document. So that means that documents run the world, not people.
Got you. Laws.
It's documents and not even laws. The documents and the enforcement of those documents. It might not even be a law.
Enforcement of those documents.
It might not even be a law. If you wrote this down with the wrong person and they can enforce it a different way, that's a different law, bruh.
That's deep right there now.
It's about the document and what they can get you to say and what's in that document. That's why there's lopsided. And this is what I ultimately have become, is understanding the law. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
That's the ultimate leadership, bro.
Period. Because who
you gonna answer to? Who's right below God in man's eyes out here in the world? Who you gonna answer to?
Some it's before.
But hold on, who you gonna answer to?
Police.
The judge.
Yeah, the judge.
Higher than the police is the judge.
That's why they go into every court in the land to try to overturn things right now.
That's what came with the Declaration of Independence.
A judge.
Because with the Articles of Confederation, each state was governing itself.
Not a monarch,
and so the states that were more prosperous, guess what they was getting? The states that was less prosperous was counterfeiting their coins that they was making in the next state over. This is before the Louisiana Purchase and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So what we have to study to be able as earthlings Because that's what those forerunners were. Everybody say we white. White is this right here. This is white.
Yeah.
Look, that's white right there, right?
Yeah.
This is white.
There are different
right?
shades of white.
And
yes.
then this is black.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
But this is brown. And that's almost the same color as my shirt, as my hand, bro.
Different shades of brown.
You see, different. That's why. Remember the group Lighter Shade of Brown?
Lighter shade of brown.
They was including us.
In general. I mean,
That was inclusive. That's the kind of leadership that we need. See, everybody else's leadership has been divisive, and that's when that you got to think. B2B and MRC, they groomed us through what? The values of MRC first. They groomed us through not only just grooming ourselves and believing and being creative in ourselves and our own, but being respectful, being on time.
I mean, we went to
follow through. This all came from MRC. This is the Male Responsibility Club. You see what I'm saying? This isn't MLK. This is before we get to B2B.
Gotcha.
Which you was a part of B2B. Shout out to Roderick Randall. He drew the original B2B logo with the two with the arms coming. You know what I mean? We used to step. We went against the Pullmans. Was you in that step show with us?
No.
Was you at that talent show?
Yes.
Did we shut it down?
Man.
Come on, man.
Brothers, no. When you went to Montbello, everybody knows who you was. And brother to brother, period. From Montbello to TJ.
But did we set it off at that talent show?
The talent show was just.
Hey, Mr. Howard, shout out to Mr. Howard. Shout out to Luke. Luke, dog, man. We miss you, cowboy, man. That was our boy. He used to pray and be like, yeah, dog, talking to God. You know, we'd be praying. We'd be like, yeah, y'all got to excuse me. He my dog, too, because they was cues. You know? Yep. Like, man.
Shout out,
you
dogs.
But that was like that camaraderie. You see what I'm saying?
That was that family.
Right? So when it got dark, dark and that leadership left and we wasn't in school no more, that void was filled with the leadership that I remember from
the streets.
Not even the streets. What we thought was
leadership.
Leadership. That's what I'm saying. Which is now the Hortons. Look, the Hortons be leading shit. Look at my nigga Russell. They wanted me to be a part of the Hortons. I was like, man, I'm not hard enough. I'm not hard enough to fuck with y'all. You know,
not even ultimately, that. It was
no, I'm talking about for me.
No, I'm saying.
For me, listen to me. Listen, check me out, Chris. While I never joined up, I knew I wasn't going to be able to put my life on the line like that. And my life's already on the line out here hanging out with y'all. Fucking with my mama. Yeah. That's what y'all don't understand. She'll kill me. My mama used to black my eye, nigga. My mama done clothesline me. I'm sure everybody's mama done did it. But my mom led with force for so many years until she kicked me out. Caught me, Abdul, my nigga Abdul Lilly, Chris G, and I think Emil. We was all on the back smoking out the power hitter. I had all the, I ain't gonna go into what I did with weed for years, but everybody knows me for that, my briefcase. I was a businessman before. I'm the businessman now. Because I was struggling. Nobody knew my mom was smoking yip inside this nice house. We got a pool table in the basement. Everybody think we balling. Man, mom got liquor and parties going on. And we are wearing, she works at a country and western place, bro. She got us wearing that shit to school, bro. I'm like cutting that shit off, this is no lie. Any of my partners know it's the truth.
That's where the
Hey, Dante, this is all the way back to elementary because she worked there forever. Dante said, man, you need to be a rapper and call yourself the Doper Roper because my mom was getting me these hats and shit that said Roper from the place she worked at and shit.
Doper Roper.
My God, bro, we was broken. Nobody understood. It's like now. I'll be like, man, I ain't got no money. My partners be like, yeah, anyway. Nobody would ever believe that I could be broke. And it's a wealth that was built inside of me that God gave me to believe in myself. Because I had nobody else to believe in.
Wow.
Like, it's hard for a man to go outside of saying, okay, yeah, God got me, or God got us, or God got this movement, but to actually take on God's responsibility outside of what you waiting on God for, and do that for all the people around you and the people who need it most. That's the most godly thing we can do, right? Which is planetary, back to the plant, because look at how unselfish that plant is. You see what I'm saying? That plant just grows, knows you about to eat it. Don't care it's lettuce, don't care it's spinach. They know you about to smash it. It just keeps coming back as long as you take care of it.
For real.
Mankind is the same, and we don't do that. And see, this is all called returning back to our baseline state of safety. See, this is what I got knocked off. When I say I got knocked off my rocker, my bro Markel Taylor, shout out to Markel Taylor, because we're about to get to ABOs, but we got to go to Culture Vision Media and Hustle and Flow first, back to Dreddy, me and Dreddy, because we're in the spot right now, hustling over there in Montbello by now.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? Because now it doesn't matter about money no more. It's not about the weed no more. My mom done kicked me out this day with, everybody there. But she had kicked me out before. But at the hospital though, bro, like that's where I found true fucking peace. This is the craziest part. Because at that moment I said to myself, man, none of that shit we was stressing about matters. Because I heard the doctors tell Big Block's mom, which is, shout out to Sheila Glenn, that's Michael Glenn's mom. She helped raise me. She got in there for some important years of my life.
Gotcha.
And she got a lot to do with me and his get down and the respect level, because she made us go to church. King Baptist, shout out to Pastor Gay. Brandy, shout out to you, sis, rest in peace, Pastor Gay. But we all got them Christian roots, right? But that came
in Montbello went to Faith Tabernacle on school buses on Sunday.
But that force from Sheila Glenn to be in her house, because she was like, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna go to church, right? And so that was kind of instilled in me there. But outside of that, man, when my mom kicked me out, bro, like for real, like. It was just some street. That's where me and Dreddy came together. Like, we both had kind of got away from Montbello. Dreddy went and got his GED first, you know what I'm saying? And his license. He was so proud. You know what I mean? And shout out to my boy, can't forget him, Sharky, you know what I mean? Everybody knows Sharky, that's bro, you know what I mean? Damon Williams, Montbello's finest, another one. Yeah, it
was real, like that was
But the extension, the thing about Montbello though, is there was just great, like, when Pac say every nigga in LA had a little bit of thug in him, bro, that was back then. Every neighborhood, if you was from Park Hill, Aurora, even, because that's where Johnny and Sylvester and Johnny Gibson, they was messing with the A, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the A's always been getting it. I remember one time, though. Hey, shout out to the A. That's what I was about to say. Check out how this is the secret story I'm about to tell you. The Ravens pull up on me one day and bump me, right? I'm like, man, is this the T? Is this the T? Nah. I look in the back, they'd have turned the siren on, they could have got us. You know what I mean? We was slipping. You know what I mean? But they had the siren on. I looked back there, they was laughing. I said, oh man, that's the homies. You know what I mean? But like every neighborhood was saturated, bro.
Post-traumatic stress right there.
You
hear that sound? Yes.
Yeah, just seen it. You can just see that kind of car. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, when you talk about these are the guys, this is what we don't understand. And this is where, okay, so leaving from Kentucky early, that's separation anxiety, right? Me looking up to Vic, me looking up to, and it wasn't just him. It was like numerous, but he's passed away. So I can really give him his props, you know what I mean, versus putting some of my partners who might still be into something, you know what I'm saying, out there, you know what I'm saying, like that. But the only reason I wasn't a gang member was because of him mainly.
Period.
He done put me on the hood probably, 40 times. Shut your punk ass up. Bow, 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 bow. I'm trying to fight back, nigga. He's clotheslining me, headlocking me. You ain't gonna never
no gang member.
You gonna be smart. You gonna read books. Like, I swear.
And that's what they was.
And my sister my sister Erica, shout out to her. She's like her and my other sister Angela, like the twins. Like, they're famous out here, but like for, you know, like different reasons. Like they were very fashionista and like before they time with it. Like my sisters, like they brought this Kentucky style with them, and everybody just loved them. You know what I mean? And they still to this day.
I don't know that.
But you know, like that. But that's all we really had though was each other. You know, and then when it all kind of split away, you know, because they moved to Ohio with my mom after she kicked me out. You know, that final time. You know what I mean? And so like, at this point, you know, in the streets, me and Dreddy, like we're doing, you know, what everybody's kind of doing in the 90s, except for we're in the studio writing, right?
Gotcha.
Studio, living room studios. That's what we needed to call it, huh? Aunt Janet's living room, Dreddy. You know what I'm saying? And Aunt Janet be bringing us coffee and she'll make us biscuits. And Aunt Janet was, rest in peace. Aunt Janet, we miss you. That's Janet Kennedy. That is Mama Lockett's sister. Rest in peace, Mama Lockett. We miss you too, baby. But like, that was where I lived. Period. When my mom kicked me out. You know what I mean? Was with Aunt Janet and old man Fred. You know what I mean? And Dreddy used to come over there every day, and you know, we'll be doing what, you know, young people do, what young traumatized, grown-minded kids do, you know, with shooting dice, you know, on the block, you know.
We did not know that we was traumatized. Once again,
exactly.
This is why
you said what changed. I'm about to tell you here on the March block. Here's what changed.
Real quick though, let's finish this.
The indictments.
Oh man!
Before you play that, hold on. The indictment. I'll pause that because we need to get back to him. Because all of this is leading up to that. Trust me, bro.
The fear of an indictment.
No, not the fear. The actual indictment.
Oh yeah, now that
Because one day on March block, bro, like we was sitting there writing, me and Dreddy writing, and you know anybody will be through there. You know, like I'm talking about
that was the first.
I'm talking about in Montbello, it was like a for real like beehive, like the real full live killers was coming through this place. And for some reason, you know, like they loved me through Dreddy. Because, you know, Dreddy's official. Like that's can't nobody never say nothing about Dreddy. But the other thing about Dreddy.
When you talk about being a hustler, though, who would you rather not hustle with, though?
Hold on, no. Who would you rather not be your bro? Because listen to me. There was times we didn't have nothing. That's why I'm bringing up Aunt Janet's biscuits in that coffee, because that's all we would have is her biscuits, and it was for real like some dough with a little Aunt Janet sprinkling in it. You know what I mean? And I miss her so much, but like she like got us through so many days, and whatever you know the customers from the block would come in with, because we would get food from them too. Shout out to Cliff family. You know what I mean? Put a whole basket of meat to the block, bro, like a movie. See what I'm saying? There was no leadership after the Bloods left that neck of the woods because they built up something right there in that pocket. See, that takes leadership to build up a spot in a block. Like the whole thing was zooming. You know what I mean? And like we was kids. You know how Pac say picture jewels being handed to an innocent child? That's what happened. You know what I mean? And luckily, like I always been a numbers guy. Any of my partners, you know, I've always been a numbers guy. So if you wonder where my part of why people always look up to me, because I always get down to the bottom, and you're not gonna get involved in no bullshit with me, because I'm gonna find out this is as I'm older. Even back then, though, I would have answers that other people would not have. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
Because I've done some research, or I was paying attention when y'all wasn't paying attention. I was listening. You see what I'm saying?
Once again, you for some reason everybody would when you talked,
but let me tell you,
was hectic. Everything for some reason the only person folks would listen to was you at the time.
On this, but let me tell you, because I always only had myself. Back to that separation anxiety. You see what I'm saying? And then now we're talking about the adverse childhood experiences with the jaws being broke, still not being around my father, with the looking up to the wrong people. You see what I'm saying? With the examples around me, you know, because who comes out of their house and the first thing, this is before I ever sold a lick of anything, right? I come out of the door and there's people outside my door on the way to school asking me, hey, you got anything? And I don't even know what they're talking about. I'm like, Anything? No, I don't have anything. I'm like, this fool trying to. And we in nice ass Montbello. This is nice ass like shout out to Montbello. Montbello is not, dude, they call it Mont Ghetto because ain't no telling what's going on inside our houses is what they talking about.
Period.
Anything could be going on inside a Montbello house.
For real.
It could be a pit bull, a pit bull breeding ground. It could be anything going on, a grow. Yeah. Anything could be going on in Montbello, but outside, you'll see the grass. So yeah, some grass is dirt and it's a nice ass house with it. You know what I mean? And some grass is amazing and it's a tore down house with a couple busted windows. Montbello is Montbello. You know what I mean? But like at this point, like it was really like hood. Like it was like crazy, and it's crack.
So many of us,
but it was crack. That's what I'm saying. But it was like a nationwide epidemic. We don't know that now. Looking back, we all know that, and we know that epidemic goes back to look at that same time. What's compounding? Hear me on this leadership. What's compounding at the same time while we had this conversation over these years while I'm growing? Listen, answer this question for me.
I didn't even know Montbello had crack.
But hold on, listen.
Fires until I was 17.
But listen, Chris.
Got kicked out like you.
Listen, check it out, Chris. Listen, it's going on in my house.
Yeah.
That's why my mom kicking me out because she done found some work at this point by the time she kicked me out. You know what I'm saying? But she know all of this shit. She don't never say, hey, I asked her too. I say, what happened to that sack you found? She's like, what sack? You know what I mean? I don't know none of this that she's doing drugs. I don't even know she was doing drugs by the time she left. It's later on I found out all this. I'm like, oh, that's what happened, right? You said, but that's how crazy the 80s and the 90s was, bro. Because it was unleashed on us, bro. It was a virus. It was like coronavirus. Yeah. Crack was like coronavirus, bro.
Crack and AIDS.
Crack first.
Oh, yeah.
AIDS second. I was afraid of AIDS, but we all know you had to be doing some other stuff to really get AIDS.
Period.
Just like coronavirus.
Just blood.
Hey, right now, you got the sanitizer right over in the sink. I got the sanitizer waiting on me when my ride comes to get me. You see what I'm saying? Like, everything.
Things that we know to do already.
I'm going to go home and wash my hands, wash my ass tonight, regardless.
No.
You see what I'm saying?
Have you ever coughed without covering your mouth?
Never.
So why are people trying to go?
I changed from the mouth to the hand. I mean, to the elbow. I told my kids, no hand, but
in general though.
But this is where we started being leaders and didn't know. And you were a victim of it too.
Oh, man.
Because they indicted nationwide.
Man.
Think about it. They went after John Gotti and them, right?
We know
Think about
everyone that got indicted.
From the smallest to the tallest, they got these new laws now. I be telling my little partners and family, like, hold on, man. Y'all got these new laws now. Y'all can get indicted for being broke and plotting something illegal.
First off,
you hear me?
To know how much money, to know how much cash money you need to have for them to even want to look at you, you have to be hurting the economy.
That's back then.
In general.
That's back then.
Oh, no. I'm just saying in general.
No, because now?
No. I'm saying back then, right.
Oh, okay,
that's the whole
point. Make that clear.
If
back then,
these individuals were taken away because they were street smart enough to hurt the American economy.
Right.
Not that lower level police were able to find these individuals.
Yeah.
That they had to be watched by the feds.
Real talk.
So that they could grab information for a long period of time.
And they did.
You understand? They need at least 365 days worth of information.
Tell them again.
They need at least 365 days of information of you interfering in the government's economy. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? That's how much money had to be exchanged for individuals to be indicted. Back to where we was at.
Yeah. So that was the ultimate leadership because them dudes, like, it was like a gang member naturally, gets tired of that shit too. Like I don't want to get in a fight every day. I got tired of getting in fights every day. After my jaws got broke, everybody wanted to test me then. So it's like, well, what's up? Well, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, that's why I say when my jaws healed, wasn't no more that I used to be really good at playing them games. I used to have all them games. I used to save up for them. You know what I mean? But at that point, like poverty was setting in on me. Like I was like, man, I can't keep walking out of this house. My partners is fresh. And I'll tell you, one day, bro, me and Dreddy was sitting out, we was smoking a blunt, because we always had fire, even back then. I've been an advocate. But that's how I never took pain pills, on some real talk. But my jaws, they still pain me to this day. And that's what I'm prescribed medical marijuana for. I got my first license back in 2008, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because of my jaws, you know what I mean? But it's real, And I really did get over many nights, get through many nights, smoking instead of, taking them pills. I ain't never been addicted to them pills, thank you God. Never been addicted to no drugs. That 75 pocket, 1975, man, we a rare breed, y'all. Like we a rare find, you know what I'm saying? We a well aged. It's like a fine aged coin. Being from that era, because 75, think about it, bro. You know what I mean?
God was still in there.
God was still in there. Value was still in there. Morals was still in there. Going the extra mile and hard work was still in there. Value of your fucking self was still in there. You see what I'm saying? In the 80s, though, bro, the closer we get to the 80s, the closer we get to the commercialization of America.
That's, once again,
that marketing. You see what I'm saying?
That's why I want.
So yeah, that's why I said, when you ready,
got you
for the transition. I just want to make sure I got that in there.
Amen.
To lead up to where me and Dreddy at right now on what and where that plays to what we doing.
Amen. At economic decisions from selfish leaders today, and that's the problem in Africa, and it's the problem in the Caribbean.
Now, hold on. We just gonna go.
I'm hearing you
because it's only 6 minutes.
No. Not at all. Not even in the Caribbean. In fact, when I was in Jamaica, I keynoted the Garvey celebration last summer, Ocho Rios.
Yeah.
The Chinese
I heard this.
Pretty much own Jamaica.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jamaican government is giving them land concessions. They're building hotels, beach resorts. They're building 2 schools for the Japanese, for the Jamaicans. And what the Jamaicans have to give them in turn is the right to certain lands, the right to certain waterways.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't stop, Jamaica, ironically, the land of Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley, will be the first Chinese colony in the Caribbean.
Wow. This is why this is so important, though.
Because the black bourgeoisie leadership in both Africa and the Caribbean, they don't have to live with the consequences of the economic decisions they make. So if I'm the president of Jamaica, okay, and China says, listen, we're going to give you $1 million in retirement, we're going to build you a retirement home, but we want this, this, and this. And you can loan as much money as you want, you can borrow as much money from the Bank of China as you want. I'm going to be set by the time I leave office. Yeah. But what about my nation? Jamaica will be struggling for the next 50 and 75 years because of bad economic decisions from selfish leaders today. And that's the problem in Africa, and it's the problem in the Caribbean.
Pause for me real quick. Pause for me just real quick.
Hold on.
Because we're going to get to it. Hold on.
We're going to let it finish, though. Because the point is at the end. It gets to our point at the end, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying, though. We both seen this interview, right? So, and it's going to get to your point?
Everybody may have not. That's the point.
No, I got you. I got you.
You know what's so sad? Chinese will come to South Africa poor.
Summed up though real quick, so I won't overtalk him. Summed up real quick though, check me out. Check me out. All the way back to that, the Articles of Confederation versus the Declaration of Independence. See, one thing that America bases itself off of is 2 things. You know what those 2 things are?
What are they?
Tradition and stability. This is what is the heart of the right wing. They base their decisions off of that, period. Right. No emotions, no branding, no nothing. That's the bottom line. Is it going along with our tradition, and is it gonna affect the stability of this economy? That's it.
Right. Hold on. Like I said.
So hold on. we don't have, I'm not just talking about brown people. I'm talking about the lower class, period. First and foremost.
Right.
When this man start raising money for his cause, first and foremost, people don't understand how long that's going to take to mature. And this is why I keep on bringing up the gang bang herd mentality that's going on and growing behind this story that we're going along with, that's going to tie right. Because all I want to say to you is, you brought me onto the show to get my thoughts out. We have a limited amount of time. So I just want to pause right here so I can just tie in two things, right?
Right.
Which was why I was saying about the Articles of Confederation, right? Because we're going to have to do that state by state. First of all, what he's about to talk about, the reason why we get racism shunned our way.
He gets to a mental health issue that I stopped the whole thing at. That's why I want to finish this. Because we're talking about mental health in general.
I know. I got you.
Right. That's why, once again, just watch where I stop it at.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. But just in general, like I said, he gets to a point to where he talks about how much money we spend with Nike in general.
That's the point I'm trying to make to you.
How much money we spend with I can't remember what other companies.
So check this story out, bro. Check this story out. This is what I'm trying to get around to, because me and Dreddy and how this came about is a big part of also the city. You know, like, you know who else was there? Shout out to Young Doe. That's Doogie. You know what I'm saying? That's Charles McClure. You know who else was there? Sharky once again, because this story is very important.
Gotcha.
Right? Sharky bumped around that block, man. He had that maroon Cutlass. Everybody remember it. The whole back seat was 215s. You remember that? So Sharky had turned on the light. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, without getting too busy on, you know what I'm saying, these lights. But Sharky had turned on the lights. You know what I'm saying? And me and Dreddy was like, wow. You know what I mean? And like, so like that same day, like me and him both figured out and plotted like how we was gonna get and change, right? So that's how we get into the streets fully, me and him. That's why it's so important, because me and Dreddy, it's my first business partner. Because we took over what was already kind of built, but we was little kids and had to really dictate and, you know, figure out how to really structure and tier this business model. 16 years old. Right, fresh off, you know what I'm saying, the summer of my jaws getting broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you feel me?
Because you enjoy living.
Nah, because I'm not, at this point, you gotta think, mom done kicked me out. You see what I'm saying? After my jaws get broke, like, that's a wrap. I go live at the spot. We're at my house every day writing rhymes and trying to figure out how we gonna get some money. You know, these individuals, I'm telling you, got indicted. They was in the paper, full page.
Right.
2-3 pages of pictures. And they was all coming through there. Me and Dreddy was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, wow. You know, like, it was just over here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. And we still little kids. You know, like, we growing.
Right.
I think Dreddy had just got his birthday, you know, so this is probably next summer, like, you know, like, when it happens, you know what I mean? And because he had just got his license. I remember he was so hyped, like, I got my license, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get mine one day too. But mom done kicked me out, so I'm like, man, shit, I got to stack up and find somewhere to live. Shit, I'm over here to live with Aunt Janet, you know, and Fred. Fred just come, old man Fred, shout out to old man Fred, but this dude just come out the back, man. This dude just got, like, in his drawers, like, he's old man Fred. Like, you know, Aunt Janet kind of like his caregiver. Right. You see what I'm saying? And so, like, you know, I didn't even know none of that at the time. You know, we don't know none of that. We just in the front, you know, hanging out because Aunt Janet gave me a place to stay. You know what I mean? And so, like, we ended up turning that model. And when I came back from prison, because I went to prison from that block, I ultimately caught like 2 dope cases right around the corner from that, from the lack of leadership.
Oh, wow.
Because now you didn't let kids take over. You see what I'm saying?
Because they got locked.
And me and Dreddy seen each other, you know what I'm saying, in them other hallways, you know what I mean? And Dreddy know them other hallways like I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right there.
You see what I'm saying? Lack of leadership.
Happened. That's what happened.
Not that they wasn't catching cases.
The first indictment, they was leaders.
Not that they wasn't catching cases, because they was catching cases. They was going to jail all the time. You know,
but it was just.
But like, we didn't really understand that part of the game yet. You know what I mean? And we was like shining like a sore thumb, because the T's was actually coming by and like knowing our names before we knew anything. Like, it was crazy. Like,
right.
You know, and we kids. You see what I'm saying? So like that was a important part to why we went over the music and took it so hard, you know, with what we was doing, because Dreddy was always business minded and I was always business minded. He tell me, man, you open up your mama's back window like a, you know, like it was a drive through, like it was killing us at night. I was like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, people still want to be happy, you know what I mean?
Business is business.
Business is business. You know what I'm saying? Like, McDonald's ain't doing it. So what I'm saying is, one thing we used to do, we used to pool our money also. That's why he was my business partner. So we pool our money. So we started pooling our money, right? When it came to the music, when we really got, you know, and started going to the studio. This is where the first time we go to the studio. Shout out to Doe. That's Doughboy. Which is also, you got so many names, big bro. Who is he, right? He's Freddie. You know what I'm saying? Freddie Moore. One Blunt Radio, big bro. You know what I mean? Him, and rest in peace, Top Dog.
Right.
The big homie Top Dog, man. You know, like they were the first ones to take us to the studio and show us. And I swear to you, man, the industry, man, they've been ripping Denver off for a long time. If y'all Denver artists, man, y'all go look at my Rebuild Your Mind challenge video. I'm doing a small business challenge, because that's what we are. We're small businesses, and we need to really discuss the trauma that y'all getting, you know, from people not coming through and doing what they saying they're gonna do for those dollars. Living off the fame of these labels, you know, that's trauma too, you know. Like, we got to address these things, because once we stop them, we can change them and put something else in that energy space, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Period.
So y'all need to go check out my challenge, and we about to get around to the challenge in a sec. But in reference to what he was saying, we have to get those articles of confederation formed here first. You know what I mean? No last name, just, you know, who's in need. You see what I'm saying? Because when we went to that studio that first time with Top Dog and Freddie, you know what I mean? Like, big bros, they was like, look, here's what we gonna do. We all gonna put up the concept me and Dreddy had already been doing. So we was the first couple times, we was like, yeah, okay, cool. You know what I mean? And like, we our own consultants, like that's all we got. We don't, remember, everybody's in jail now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he's one of them. So he was kind of like schooling me on what they own. But I'm like, hey, bro, you know, like, this is what I read. And, you know, like, hey, you know what, when I was living over there, this is what bro was telling me. As a matter of fact, I was just with bro the other day, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. Hey, my people can get us through this too. So it's like a dual leadership. You know what I'm saying?
Many
like
leaders.
Hey, you ever heard that Niggas by Jadakiss?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's one of the most powerful, it's not Jadakiss, it's Tupac, but it's got Jadakiss on it.
On it, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When they got the Richard Pryor sample, niggas, right? Jadakiss say some of the illest shit on there, because he says, you a leader when you can get a leader to follow you. That's what MRC and B2B was, and it still is instilled in my thread to this day. So when you talk about leadership, that's the foundation, right?
Yeah.
And then now I done seen what that blooding and cripping do for real. Because I remember Jamil said that. I took off running. I didn't want no parts of it then. They was bringing it around me, you know, like forever.
Just remember you on the microphone.
They was bringing it around me forever, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that was a leadership that I never chose. That in itself is leadership. But it was because of Vic who instilled it in me too, who was entrenched in it. This dude was, anybody who knows Vic, like when you talk about leaders in Park Hill, like there's several.
Right.
But he's definitely on Mount Rushmore of Park Hill. Like, you know, he's right there. And like there's several from the east side as well, you know, like Mike Asbury, who I didn't cross their path.
Man.
Ironically, messing with Dreddy, because one thing about Dreddy is the networking king. He's the king of networking. You know what I mean? He really is. And when people tell me I know everybody, I'll be like, a lot of it's because of Dreddy too, you know? But Dreddy feels the same way about Montbello with me, because we was traveling around that thing. I was like, hey, yo, this is a, you know what I mean? And
at the same time,
and that's the beauty of Colorado.
We didn't know how many stars was. I knew I was around greatness.
Man, this dude TD
in Montbello.
This dude TD and Doughboy, when they took us to that studio, we knew we was around greatness, right? Except for that third time when they started telling us our greatness wasn't gonna go on the mic. That is why what he was saying, that right there, the day me and Dreddy was like, nah, man, and we should have said, okay, let's maybe hold on here and see what's up. You know what I mean? But no, we didn't. We went back to what we knew. You know what I mean? We got to get back to the counter anyway. Like, boop, 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 boop. You know what that means? That's why I dropped out of high school.
Right.
Anybody who's in that class is Miss Christopher, I think her name was. Shout out to Miss Christopher, anybody in that class, or Miss whatever her name was. Somebody in this class, and they're going to confirm this story for you. My pager went off, and she said, Mr. Shively, your pager is no longer going to continue. This is a real story, Chris. She said, Mr. Shively, your pager is no longer going to disrupt my class. And I looked down, man, and I seen a 911 with some numbers where I had to agree with that lady. And I said, you are right. Got my backpack, and I was out, bro. Man. And never went back. One of the worst decisions I ever had, because I had an academic scholarship already locked in.
We was over at TJ at the time.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all's B2Bing on the other side. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
we was over at TJ though.
But my thing though, bro, is here is the problem with what he's saying, right? Is because not only did we was like, nah, we good. You know what I mean? And it's not like none of us ever just turned and blew up like that about it. I know that the music company and the stuff that me and Dreddy built, you know what I'm saying? Through that music, you know what I'm saying? Our endeavors, our networks, the money that we raised, like we was crowdfunding before crowdfunding. If you think about it, that's what we talking about, right? That's really what this is.
Hustling,
my boy Doe, you know what I'm saying? Freddie, man, he pulled out the briefcase. We at the spot, bro. This dude pulled out the briefcase safe. I said, I gotta step my shit up. When he opened it up, it's like a light came out of it, like on Pulp Fiction. No, I'm just playing, but it was that real to me because it came out and it was like, oh, you know what it was? You know what it was? It was the Articles of Organization for the Hilltop Clique. Changed my life.
Oh, wow.
Changed my life, bro. I said, wait a minute, what is this? What is this? And I didn't never get back around to it, but I always knew about it. I was like, see, we're gonna need some articles on everything. Whenever we do whatever we're gonna do, that used to be my shit. I'm like, we're gonna need some articles, you know what I mean? Shout out to Doe, you know what I'm saying? That's big bro, man. This is the problem right here. Once again, not only did we not go back to that studio, but he didn't come and say, okay, here's the structure and let's do this. That's the problem right there. It's so easy to get with the government, man. They'll just be like, okay, so look, all you gotta do is bottle up the numbers that you said you did this year. Let us know. And that's how much we're going to charge you to do business on our soil. See, until you have, and this is what's good for the economy, Chris, until you have some more of that going on, which is what Jay-Z is representing. He's adding to the economy. That's what E40 is doing. He is empowering the economy. Shout out to Earl.
You know what I mean?
You know, I met him. He offered me some Rossi. It was during the day. I was in the middle of my grind. I had to turn him down. I said, no, 40, I'm good. But I did steal his lighter. It was an accident. You know what I'm saying? But I employed him. Under my company.
Once again.
You know what I mean? And that's what we did. People don't understand how big and bossy what me and Dreddy was doing. Like, we're actually employing these huge name artists. But Denver, you know, we got an issue with embracing one another. See, like when you talk about the New York culture and you talk about the
that's
Texas culture. Like these are all. Look at Wu-Tang. Look at Rockefeller. Like you can't get three people. You can't get. Hold on.
Your
Listen.
neighborhood was your clique.
Listen to what I'm saying though, Chris. Out here with business, the first forms of business that we saw seriously, where everybody was really taking them serious, was this hip hop, man.
Yeah. That was everybody's. We do not have to do what
they was dropping the
people
basketball.
Tell us
they was dropping the football.
Right?
They was like, I'm fitting the bust, homie. Me too. Y'all
you
know.
could give up
y'all
your
know
life
MC Joke a lot
of having to work for.
Hey, MC Joke a lot was killing the mic, bro. You know I was killing the ciphers, bro. It's my first shit, MC Joke a lot. You know what I'm saying? But look, we only got so much time, so I want to make sure that we get around to this mental health full and strong, because that's the catalyst of what I'm summing up to you, right?
Gotcha.
Because when I tell you about me and Dreddy running those streets like that, not like literally, you know, running them like ripping and running, like y'all be ripping and running in the streets. No, like we was running those streets, like we was getting into it with people, you know, just like they was in California. I'm getting into it either about money or because of my the people who I'm hanging out with, which are kids answering the questions that used to be answered by seasoned grown men. You see what I'm saying? And that's not what's happening anymore. As sad as that statement is, the absence of the leadership of the gangs created a vacuum of knowledge. And that vacuum was being filled by a bunch of theory. Because that's what me, you, all your homies, all my homies, all they homies, we was all like, well, I think we should do this. And there were some smart ones.
Once again.
Like myself, but I was dumb as hell too. Because I got us in a lot of high positions, you know, like when you talk about this leadership, bro, it has to be known inside of those people first.
I think like these when people know though, because some
of them don't. Some of them are some people are puppets. Listen to me. Hear me out.
True.
Hear me out. True. Some people are leaders for their job, which is their cause, which is their mission, right? I first and foremost, before anything, bro, I'm a flat out earthling. A lot of people don't want to be from here. A lot of people claim alien, like you were saying the other day.
Oh man!
A lot of people claim Jupiter. A lot of people say I'm from the moon.
And it's crazy.
Man, I just dropped down from this star. You know, all that's great, man. And I hope you get back to where you need to go. I'm from Kentucky. I ain't been back there neither, right? Right. So I might as well be an alien my goddamn self, right? And so which gave me the opportunity. Listen to me. On this leadership tip, this is what I'm telling you. All these things summed up, that's what gave me this leadership mentality, because there wasn't nobody after Luke was gone with B2B and after Mr. Howard grew up and, you know, got other decisions. Like my leadership became the streets, but then I seen all them go to jail.
Right.
And then it was me and Dreddy just looking at each other and Sharky looking at each other like, what we gonna do? Nothing. We all gonna go and figure out how we gonna pay our bills, because now we about to have bills.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And once again,
and me and Dreddy would come back for the music from time to time.
Change in your life.
That's always separating every compounding thing. But guess what's still compounding? Even though I'm not involved in it like that, Dreddy's not involved in it like that no more. We're both doing something different with our love. But guess what's still compounding? The herd mentality. Guess what's not compounding in the other side? This is what I can introduce to you now. The solution on the other side of that herd mentality.
And see,
from what's called
normal?
This is what ABOS calls it. We call it a frozen psychological state of dependency.
Okay.
So check this out. So if you're still, check it out. I got some partners, man. I hope they see this. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
But I got some partners, right? And you cannot tell them that it ain't still Crip and it ain't still blood. Deep, Vice Lord, GD, you name it. Because I grew up all over Denver.
Once again, you know people.
West Side, East Side, Park Hill, Montbello. That's how I went. And then Aurora. You know, when I got to Aurora, you know, shout out to my boy Nike. We used to work at the warehouses, lived in the same townhouses, but I'm like 26 by then. You know what I'm saying? And the police is like staking out, waiting for me to come out. I got to drive a different car every day to throw them off. Like my life it was so hectic at the time, because, you know, I got a 9-8 number. And a 9-8 number in prison means that you went to prison between 97 and 98, because that's what those numbers are. You know, I think somebody told me they got like 250,000 numbers or something now. It's crazy. Like, but yeah, I got an old number. You know, a lot of the people who I went with back then got even older numbers, and they got like 6 numbers. You know, crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And if you ever go back, they will honor you with the same number, like it's your social security number. No lie. Go. Yeah, you're back. Hey, 92345. Hey man, how you been? They all old and gray just like you and shit. They were waiting because they stay in prison.
Right.
We get out of prison. The people who work there, the staff, they stay in prison longer than us. They do sentences longer than us.
Right.
Think about it.
And nobody thinks about the psychological work on them.
You see what I'm saying? This is where the rebuild your mind is growth from. You see what I'm saying? And so, Dreddy, this is how much me and Dreddy's intertwined. And I got to hurry up and get off of him because it's like me and him was so intertwined in a lot of this, but I seen him on the way to transitions in my life. But here goes the cold part. Fast forward, my business partner on ABOs. I start hustling flow at the same time with ABOs when I come home. Dreddy is my business partner, our other business partner. Shout out to Kevin Pistol. Don't nobody want to hear his name. They don't even want to talk about hustling flow. This is trauma, right?
For real.
When you're talking about hustling flow, you're talking about videos and verses with Snoop Dogg and E40, right? The Snoop Dogg came from my boy JR. You know, shout out to young JR, another great networker, you know, like Dreddy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But JR, you know, his people live right next door to my house. I'm throwing a 4th of July barbecue. This is how Hustle and Flow starts, because we already doing like the original name and idea, you know what I mean, from when I'm inside a prison when I run into Taylor Bay, which is Markell. Right? This is how ABOs is formed, because ABOs is the formal training of business, the formal training of my higher self as a man through the Moore Science, the Association of Young Business Owners.
All right.
Right?
Yes.
And so in ABOs, I learned the principles of empirical data. I learned the principles of the right team and system, because I studied under so many different trains of knowledge, but mainly under the Moore Science of America Circle 7, right? Teaching me about myself. You know what I mean? And so learning about myself, this is new leadership, whereas I'm thinking that my leadership is, well, Vic ain't around no more, so I'm going to act like Vic. See what I'm saying? Not what would Jesus do, what would Vic do? Right?
And that's how a lot of,
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times in situations, man, I'll be with the Bloods and I'll be like, man, what would Dreddy do right now? You know what I mean? And they would look themselves in the mirror and have to know who you are to deal with that situation. That's what I learned from the science. You see what I'm saying? And then from ABOs, Markell came in and just, man, I got to tell you real quick, because this is where the leadership, this is how we get to mental health, right? When I get to prison this last time, bro, because I went, you know, more than once, I said I got a 9-8 number. They renewed it. That's how I know they will be like, hey, it's you again, because I did it. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, I run in to, long story short, Markell, because I'm very business minded at this point, because we're getting some success with our music, but, you know, like we doing it like as a team, like, you know, me, Dreddy, KP, Kevin Pistol, Headache, my boy Headache, you know what I mean? This is early, you know what I mean? Like, we at the house, we trying to figure out studios, and, you know, it's just a lot going on. And Dreddy made the CD. This is leadership. This is leadership. When you hear about, when you talk about that leadership, Dreddy made that CD.
I'm wondering how much this affected you mentally.
Listen, I'm about to get around to all of this, because Dreddy made that CD, Who Riding, right? And if you listen to the end of the CD, it was the first time I popped in a piece of media and heard my name without me saying it. He shouted me out, you know what I mean? It was like, bro, wherever you at, man, we missing you, man. Come on home. Let's get this money. Something to that effect, you know, because it's my bro. You know what I mean? And he himself, like, took me to that studio, you know what I mean? And breathed that life back into me. Now, I have been recording you know, by this time I had moved to Ohio. I had moved around a lot. That's why I say I seen him, because I seen him when I was on my way to go see what it was like out there before I moved out there, because I ended up having a parole out there. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. We just in a bus station, bro. Like I think we was in like St. Louis or somewhere, bro. It's like birds flying through the ceiling's open, bro, and like birds is flying through the bus station like a cathedral, bro. This is real shit. You can ask Dreddy, bro. And I look over and it's him in another line. And it's me with my son, you know what I'm saying? That's what changed my life ultimately, is them kids. But you know, like we're not here for that right now, but they kept me grounded. I must say that. My babies, shout out to Corey Shively, the second, you know what I mean? And Christiana, you know,
I love the kids.
That's my daughter, you know, but they changed my life. I met my daughter on that visitor room table in prison. I gotta say that.
Right.
That's where I met my daughter, because I was on my way to prison when all this was happening. And all the times I went to prison, it was based off of my record, because I got in trouble so early. This is trauma.
Right.
I watched Charlie Sheen get caught with the same amount of drug that I got caught with for a drug case. And they gave him rehab on television, bro.
And you
for like 30 to 60 days, bro. Hey, bro, I was on paper for that case from 16 all the way. On paper means being on parole or probation, some form, but that's on paper, where like bro said, you got to answer to somebody. But I was on that from 16 all the way to like 25, bro. Because I had to parole out to Ohio for them to let me out of prison out here. You know what I'm saying? They kept denying my parole plan. And so I went and lived out there for a while. That's how I got out there. You see what I'm saying? But out there, I started dibbling and dabbling with the business stuff that I had out here. So anyway, when I come back, you know what I mean? I do get back in trouble with the wrong crowd. Now, don't get me wrong. I had changed my whole life. I was the leader of the #1 fundraising firm for the Democratic National Committee, bro.
Oh, shit.
#1 fundraiser, bro. And then became a supervisor over them, teaching them how to do it. You know what I mean? Brought in some of the biggest pledges ever that firm has ever seen. C.A. Shively. Learned that my name spelled cash in prison. Because on your name tag, I mean on your coat, you got a name tag. And one of my partners, I can't remember.
Shively, cash.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. It's like, man, your initials spell cash. It's before I really ever embraced it like that, you know? And then I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so they called Muhammad Ali Cash. I seen it in the movie, like it was like Cash, and I started seeing the interviews. I was like, oh yeah, I'm running with that. You know what I mean?
All right.
And it's my rap name. You know what I'm saying? So I like them acronyms. I always played with them. My mom told me, I miss you, Mom, Rosemary Elizabeth. Changed my entire life. I wouldn't be having this interview with you right now if she hadn't decided to come out here and run out of gas with Hazel Bittler.
Period.
That's how life worked. But she died January 23rd, 2017.
God bless you.
My life was never the same. That's the only, because she had moved back out here. I went and got her, you know, and then she moved back out of state. But anyway, so when it comes to ABOs, right? Fast forward. I make Mark Hill. 100 people are telling me about him before I meet him. This is where that business leadership comes in. You see what I'm saying? And under the Association of Young Business Owners, I had already had experience out here with Culture Vision Media. That was me, the early company, right, that I had formed. But now shout out to, Kevin Pistol. He had a business, dude. This dude is the technology director of ABOS, man, but they had a group called Bipolar, bro. And like, these young dudes had one of the illest CDs, man, that cataclysmic, man, and they was just some spitters, bro. And I'm a hip hop head, bro.
I know.
But you really can't be like, if you wasn't up in Russell's records, like shout out to E40, that's my boy Earl. I know you and Ty about to do that, you know, Too Short, you know, but you know, like, I'm a Earl Stevens,
Snoop Dogg.
But I'm an Earl Stevens head, man. You know, like it's Earl Stevens, and I'm not gonna really even talk about that verses and all that, but Earl's my boy. You know what I mean? That's my dude. I grew up on him. Me, Big Block, Terrence Strode, and I think Lil Preston, resting in peace. APD killed my partner, you know, before George Floyd, before all of that, like Preston, Harrison, so many different names, like right here. You know what I mean? Like we like this, and that's why I love what they doing with Elijah. Shout out to Terrence. You know what I'm saying? Terrence Roberts, like that's my boy. I seen him on our travels. You know what I mean? Like, but he used to go to MLK with us. You know what I mean? Like people don't know Terrence is like he's a traveler, and then you know he got that God ingrained in him. You know because his dad. You know what I mean? Like he comes from good stock. Like there's several people like that out here, you know.
Of course.
We are. You are. This platform is that leadership, right?
True.
And then those articles of confederation start right here. And it's not a new government, it's an enhancement of the economy. Because who wants to keep on seeing like federal programs? That's why they're trying to close them. Who wants to keep on seeing, you know, welfare, and who wants to keep asking somebody for something? Let's just create that. We are spending the bread, so let's enhance that. You know what I mean? It don't have to be just ours, but you know what it can always have is our inclusion because we're Americans.
Right.
It's hard to really break us down and say, hey, you're a this over here. Man, I was born on these shores right here.
In the Mile High City.
No, I was born in Louisville, Kentucky,
Not
but
you. I'm saying.
But right, I'm just talking about America.
Me, myself.
We're coming to America. We did that. we didn't have to come here. We came from here, right?
Right.
So if that's your land, this land is your land. This land is my land. From U.S. islands to California,
to the U.S.
You see what I'm saying, right? However it goes, right?
Waters. Yeah.
This land was made for you and me.
This land was
not just you, not just me, but both of us, you and me.
Right.
Right. It is our responsibility as Earthlings.
But once again, that's one of the things that caused the mental trauma that
this is what I'm saying. Us as Earthlings, it is dually our responsibility to give back to humanity. This is where the social responsibility side of ABOS comes from. Because it started out with me advocating for Markel, because when I got out, I didn't do no huge stint. I'm not a 5-10 year or none of those long terms, I went in there 2 years here, 3, but I'd be in the county for 2 years fighting my case or something, but that's where I met Markel, and that's where ABOS ultimately started. And we thought that Markel, because he was sending, once I got out, I was advocating for him, right? Calling facilities. Once again, that leadership back and forth, like what me and Dreddy was having, right? And so like back and forth, he would give me this game about business, where to look, what to read, where to get these certifications, how to get, these copyrights, how to get these, like, dude was just like, because he was in there with those libraries and he identified all the most powerful books of knowledge from inside there. And people don't understand. I hear people say that, it's so bad for, us as a people, different peoples. Like, I'm not just talking about brown people in general. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about people in general, right? They always got these complaints. You see what I'm saying about what's going on with their area, right? But we have a responsibility to figure out something.
Once again.
Because nobody handed anyone anything. So hold on, this is where what Markel, he came home business-minded, mentally ill, parolee, not knowing how to adapt to society. So I had to walk him back to society.
Once again,
hey, here.
That's the mental disorder we get.
I don't know that this is the frozen psychological state of dependency. I don't know this thing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking. Yes, this is all documented.
I'm just saying. I want to make sure that people understand
everything that I'm citing.
Themselves.
No, this is all documented, and you can go to rebuildyourmind.org when all this is over, and you can find out more about what we're doing in mental health, who we're working with, from the Fraternal Order of Police to sitting with Beth McCann and her panel of mental health. What ABOS is doing is just simply simplifying these traumatic brain injuries that we don't know what's going on, these adverse childhood experiences that we don't know what's going on, because that's what this story is.
Right.
When you got me and Dreddy once again on that block at that age, and Sharky, at that age, making those decisions as kids, stop what you're doing. Stop all that focus on higher self and about to be what you're gonna be. You focus on what's going right here on the street and giving them people what they asking you for. That right there is a automatic change from a child to a grown man, thinking you're a grown man when you don't have any answers of a grown man.
None.
You can't fill in any of the blanks that you're about to go. You're about to bust your head for 15 years to fill in these blanks, right?
Psychological disorder, got you.
And we don't know it. Like watching, watching people get beat to death. Watching people get beat to death, bro. Watching people get shot to death, bro.
That's not right. It's not.
That's trauma, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's trauma, bro. And it's normal to our neighborhoods.
It's normal.
So these things are not only adverse childhood experiences, not only trauma, but they're actually guiding the psyche of our entire being. We're carrying these things around us, and I had to go to therapy myself. So while Markel is out as functioning as this, this person we all are respecting as a businessman, now I got my partner, right? He's here with me now. Like, he was still locked up for like 3-4 years. I think he was locked up. I got out in 2008. He was locked up till like 2012. So he's still locked up for another 4 years, and we're going back and forth building this business. Because ABOS was formed in 2008. While he was still in prison, I formed the company. Because by now I know what I'm doing because he done gave me up, right? So I'm building like shares, like membership interests, like bylaws, like, that's what I know. When I tell you I'm a lawyer.
Signs of intelligence inside.
When I'm telling you I'm a lawyer, bro.
I don't doubt.
When I'm for real it's just simply a lawyer is one that is fluent in the law.
Right. That's the definition.
So the level of my understanding of legalities and the criminal justice side, the understanding of that could never be put on a shirt. You got to get in those positions to be ready to defend that. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, he put hours, and I'm talking about like letters like this, like he would have to put like 6-7 stamps on a letter, sending it. Driving his business into me, sending me to all these different places to check and see if it was real and what was fake, plugging in with all these other people to see what was this, how ABOS was formed, bro. There's an article on it. It's if y'all Google ABOS turning tragedy to triumph, there's an article that was written on it. So y'all can go check that out too. And it talks about this story, but in detail. It talks a little bit about the music too, because it wasn't all good with the music. Y'all know it. That company did some amazing things, and nobody talks about it. And it's cool. I understand, but when it comes to the mental health aspect, Markel, my business partner, we get this thing so big because we turn it into a breast cancer campaign based off of my mother being diagnosed. His mother had died from it. And then, it was also inside my family in other places, right? So we say, we got to do something about this. So we start bringing all the breast cancer organizations together to find a collective.
I apologize for looking down like
No, you all good. I know you was listening. And the camera was listening. You know what I mean? So It's all good. But so we bring them all together. And, shout out to those ladies, man, because they're dealing with a lot of death in that industry. Dealing with a lot of death, in cancer, period. But, like that breast cancer, man, it's devastating. Man. The one thing that I've seen that is, affecting society silently, just like breast cancer, is this trauma. You see what I'm saying? Because period. I was looking at Markel. I'm like, this dude's a genius. My business partner's a genius. I'm telling everybody he's a genius. Then I'll be like,
don't worry about my guy.
Hey man, don't say that no more, man. What made you say that, man? Like, what's wrong with you, bro? Like, you got to chill. Like something's wrong with me, bro. This is for a few years,
right?
This keeps happening.
After he
and literally, bro, my kids are young, so I'm talking to them on the same level. Like, I'm breaking stuff down to him the same way I'm breaking my kids. Hey, listen now.
Gosh.
Stern and aggressive. Stern and aggressive. Listen now, you're gonna, hey, buddy, stop running around this store. Hey, it's a grown man. Bro, hey man, you catch us a case, man. Chill out. Man, you can't be talking like that around the kids. What's wrong with you? Like, hey, something wrong with me, bro. And we all just kept saying, oh man, you good. Do some push-ups. We all we come from, adverse childhood experiences. And what do? We suppress that, right?
Right.
In the form of what? SIBO. SIBO.
Especially in the hood. Like, we don't talk.
SIBO.
We don't talk any forms of mental health.
SIBO, man. That's how you talk about mental health. SIBO. We were raised on SIBO. SIBO said he let loose on the whole MFing crowd, jumped out and started beating MFers down. Like, how hard you gotta be to just be in that frame of mind? Like seriously, bro. Like, that is leadership, the other sub-leadership that we don't know about, which is that hip-hop.
Once again, when you're hustling that hard.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's in it's part of it.
You
gotta pop it in.
Not even in general. Like, there is nothing. People have seen me go from this individual who is nice to this individual that is completely evil.
Yeah.
And
sociopath. That's what they call them.
Yeah.
That's what they was calling us.
Well, that's once again.
Survivors, though.
I did this from 5 years old on, and unleashed that to people once again.
But you're an Earth survivor, though.
Pullman watched me lift the nigga up in the air, all because he took some candy off a desk in middle school.
Yeah.
Mr. McNerney's class.
Yeah.
I grabbed this nigga by his neck and watched him pass out in my hands.
Yeah.
But I was not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
blackout.
All I remember is when he passed out. I mean, I lifted this nigga up in the air.
Yeah.
8th grade.
Yeah.
And once again, Mr. McNerney said, "You sitting right here for the rest of the day."
Exactly. Because their solution.
He lifted weights and he was like,
but what was their solution?
Coach Gonzalez. He was like, we're gonna call your mom.
And then, what was the solution?
Once again, I was already in special ed. They changed it to emotionally disturbed.
And what was the solution from there?
Me?
I'm talking about what kind of solutions did they give you from that behavior is what I'm wondering.
Mr. McNerney watched me until I left middle school. When I got over to Montbello, another teacher took over, but she was no Mr. McNerney.
So they just put you further and further in the classes that were similar to prison programs, correct?
I don't know if they were prison
programs are broken down societal responsibilities and ideologies broken down in small bites, right?
Right.
While you're in a closed environment.
Right.
Right? So that's what I mean when I say that. But our time is getting short, so I want to just make sure we get this in.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
Because when Markel went back, right, the research from, shout out to Dr. Kim Gorgons, and shout out to the University of Denver, and shout out to men's transitional unit inside of the Denver Sheriff's Department and the Fraternal Order of Police, because they saved that man's life, along with me and ABO's advocacy support as well. Gotcha. Because the Association of Young Business Owner is not just the marketing company, that's the main company that everybody sees.
It's
when you see the visuals, when you well, honestly, what it is it's a socially responsible company. That's what the movement is. We tackle ills, that are affecting not only us, but normally, like poverty. You know what I mean? Poverty, that's why financial education is one of our biggest things with the association.
Once again,
and that's what we're going to talk about. You know what I mean?
We spent more money on Mercedes-Benz. That's what it came down to.
Yeah.
We spent more money on Mercedes-Benz than white people did.
Yeah.
And we talk about how we're not making money, but once again, white people have more money than us.
Well, they do, but listen though, where did money come from? And that's what we have to understand. Money comes from the soul.
Right.
From your soul or whoever's soul has the money going on. Because think about this. Snoop Dogg can charge a company in Denver such as ourselves $40,000 for a verse in a video, say, right?
Right.
But then if who's the one that he said he ran in the room and it was it Lil Half Dead or was it his cousin Daz? My little cousin Daz, and he, you know that song.
Yeah.
But anyway, he give Daz the same verse for free.
Period.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're creating your own economy, right?
Right.
Those pockets right there, that's the problem with Dr. Umar's, that's what he's running into. And it was an Asian entrepreneur, right? I read in this article, right? And he said, they asked him, what's the problem in the black community? And he said it. He said, the black community is training their kids to go out and get jobs from people who made those jobs for their kids.
Right.
So until we're being industrious, right, which is what ABOS is all about, which is what this mental health is all about, because once you get past, and we'll start because we're almost done. So once you get past the separation anxiety like I had, and you get past the adverse childhood experiences like I had, no father, watching everybody grow around me, with the greatest toys, greatest gear, what I'm saying? Mom smoking in the closet, I don't know, you know what I mean? But everything looks amazing, those are all adverse, and then she kicks you out at 16 with the broken jaws. I caught the chicken pox, we talking about the coronavirus, I caught the chicken pox at the spot, man. I was at the dope spot, sleeping at the dope spot, man, like with chicken pox, about to die. Hey, Janet, I love you. He took care of me. I think Dreddy might not have came through. He quarantined me that week. You know what I'm saying? He was like,
they said
that
after you mature as a man, it definitely. Yeah.
That was the Corona 96, not the COVID-19. That's the COVID 96. You know what I mean? But so when they went into that program, when they went into that program and found out about Markel, right? Mm-hmm. And they identified these TBIs and identified the effects and the imprints of trauma. See, We're not fighting trauma. We're fighting the imprints of trauma. When you tell me about that little boy that you raised up, and they didn't say, hold on, let's get this boy a neuropsychological screening and a neurological evaluation. Let's try that on this boy. Let's find out what's going on there. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, this boy's a savant. He's just mad because nobody's speaking the language that he has in his head that he's already seen.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But instead we get suppressed.
Once again.
And then at the certain levels they give you drugs. So what the Rebuild Your Mind is it's the Rebuild Your Mind, which is what they did with my brother. And he turned me on to this research, and ABOS shines light on that research to the point where we've made it to NAMI and NASHIA, these global and national stages for mental health.
Yeah.
And these are two guys from the prison, you know what I mean? Where we took the only arm we got, which is marketing, which I learned well from the music, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing me and Dreddy did. We market, this music, and the whole Colorado, shout out to Colorado for what they're doing. The growth is amazing. Trev Rich, MNLD, like these are all my bros. Tommy Veasley, that's the technology director of ABOS. That's the version of B2B after you left.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
This is leadership. You see what I'm saying? And when you ask where it's at, it's right here, right now, on your platform. When you're out talking, talk about how, so what's the investments we can make as a whole? Because what you got to understand about how money compounds. We have nothing compounded in another direction. Hold on.
Yeah, no.
These two married.
That was what the statement at the end.
Oh, I know what he said.
About.
But this is what I'm saying.
He went to the bank and he said, you know what the problem is with banking and black people coming into their bank? He goes, black people come into the bank and the risk is on them because they want to buy a house, and if situations get bad, they will make their car payment before they make their house payment because they put cars.
But that's because we're not all at a baseline state of safety.
Before you put a house which could give you lifetime value.
I hear it. I check it.
And that's a form of psychological.
But listen, they can't get to their baseline state of safety. Which is what happened with Markel, which has happened with myself after therapy, which is what the Rebuild Your Mind is all about, is getting back to that baseline state of safety. right? But then hold on. Once you get back to that baseline state of safety, this is why people return, recidivism, reactivate in the gang, re-hustle, go back to the street. Why do we do that? Because it's called Maslow's hierarchy. And at the top is social support. That's like the highest form. Like right now, this is social support. Guess what that social support is also known as? The biggest threat to trauma.
Look, I remember I left healthcare for a whole year, right?
You feel me?
Yeah. I remember I left healthcare for a whole year. I know you got to go.
No, we over 2. We at 2 right now.
And that's the bad thing.
Hey, it's all good.
You guys, be good. Conversation, Ruler Nation, actions speak louder than words.
Go to rebuildyourmind.org. Google Abo, C.A. Shively, Rebuild Your Mind. Google Markel Taylor and Rebuild Your Mind. We're doing amazing things. You need some help, go to rebuildyourmind.org. We got some answers for you there. Thank you for listening today.
Thank you, Corey, for being here.